happy I repeated it. It was a good workout today.
My team, everybody's good out here. Everybody's physically talented, mentally tough. But if you cannot work together as a four-person unit, it doesn't matter how good you are individually. So the teams that kind of forge together under adversity, those are the ones you see having the most success at the next level.
Jesse Grigsby there in the background, three-time fittest firefighter. Let's finish the lockout. 0-7 still with a pretty solid.
Round 2. Last lap. 5:30.
Definitely came down on the women's side. You're talking about two athletes that are 5'6" and taller between Christine and Bailey. And that really helps on your team side if everybody can sprint through those last boxing photos.
It's an exclusive club in event number 2, 417, no more.
Hey, 10 squats.
Joined Mayhem Independence in the teams that have finished, only 4 through 3 heats. That's how they finished here in heat number 3 of 417 at 3:13:39, 4-3 heat win. One heat remaining here in event number 2 on day 1 of the 2018 Reebok CrossFit Games. That's a look at downtown Madison, Wisconsin, and that beautiful Capitol building. A big symbol you see in all the graphics as you look at when you come up here to Wisconsin. Beautiful Capitol building. And we're inside the North Park Stadium here in the Alliant Energy Center as you see all those fans just outside the North Park, the newly expanded North Park. So we get set for the final heat of team event number 2, the 30s. I'm Jeff Reichel alongside Chase Ingram. We'll hear momentarily a little bit later from Amanda Prince. And we had one event earlier this morning as they got on a bike and then they picked up a barbell, and it was CrossFit Mayhem Freedom who has 100 points. After one event, it was OC3 with 94 points. We'll see where that Heat 3 finished with them overall, but they're going to take a little bit of a heat after getting second overall today. And here's what they have ahead of them in the 30s.
The big thing to start things off are those 30 synchronized ring muscle-ups as a team. They'll have to do 30 reps each athlete. And then we move into the back squats. 275 for the men, 205 for the women. They can split that up any way they want. Both pairs must complete 30. Same for the push presses, dropping the weight to 185 and 135. And if they get to the box, and that's where the race is going to be, it's going to be in the time between the reps, not necessarily the reps themselves.
That's what they have ahead of them. Here's how they line up. Your overall leader right now, they want to bet Mayhem Freedom at lane 7 and lane 10. Reebok CrossFit 1. We knew they would be a contender, but maybe not getting all the talk, but 88 points in a third place finish earlier today.
That's a good way to start off your CrossFit Games venture as we move into these 30 synchronized ring muscle-ups. The win is not as crazy as we had maybe in heat number 3. I think heat 3 had the most trouble with the win in terms of those rings standing still in between sets.
We talked about those rings earlier, and 417 got a event lead at 13:39. Amanda Prince on the competition floor. What did they think about the wind and the rings and the muscle-ups in the event, Amanda?
Well, I can tell you they weren't a big fan of it, but they actually didn't know what to expect when they got up here to the competition floor. They didn't know about the wind. All they knew was that one of the teams from the heat before them, as that team was exiting the competition floor and they were coming on, said, hey, the muscle-ups are terrible. They didn't know that there was a wind factor going on. So what they did on the fly was they adjusted their rep scheme. They had to shorten the amount of reps that they were doing each time. But overall, still a great event for them.
Thanks Thanks a lot, Amanda. That's the way you come out there, and we've talked about it, the unknown and the unknowable.
Oh yeah, it's the wind factor is an issue, but look at the length of the straps. What a beautiful example of how long these straps are. If you just eyeball it, that's over 10 feet in length. Most of the strap lengths in your normal affiliate are maybe 3 to 4 feet long, and enough to not bash your head against the crossbar when you're on your pull-up rig. And what that really does is think about the length of a rope you're trying to pull. The longer the rope is, the less you get from that pull, right? When you do something short, say you're trying to pull 200 pounds with a foot-long rope, the action that you have on that rope immediately affects the block. When you stretch that out over 10 feet, you have a lot less power through that because it just kind of dissipates the length of that rope. And that's what we see with these straps and these muscle-ups. So the wind makes it hard, the length of the strap makes it hard, and now it's hard for everybody. So it's something these athletes need to adjust, like you said, unknown and unknowable. Well, you have some implements that maybe you're just not used to, and you have to adapt on the fly.
And let's face it, now many of these teams tested this event outdoors in the weather. Most of these were done inside the box.
And what they're looking for when you're talking synchronized muscle-ups is being synced up at the top of that ring muscle-up. So these athletes will come up, lock out together, and then they'll be synchronized. We see the same thing with bar muscle-ups traditionally at the regional level. So athletes will come onto the top, lock out at the same time, and then go into your next rep. That is very, very taxing on the shoulders and very taxing on the core. If you've never done a top of a ring dip hold, just go to a set of rings in your affiliate, hold the top of that dip, and you'll be surprised at what happens to your core and your chest at the top of that hold.
That's Cape CrossFit, your Meridian champions here in lane number 2. That box went to the games back in 2011, but here we go. Your overall leaders with 100 points. Mayhem, Cleveland. Again, we talked about it earlier. I think people know, but just to reiterate, when we talk about games records, event wins, such as that, we're going to be talking about this Freedom team, even though they get some veterans independents. The Froning-based Mayhem Freedom team is that team that we consider holding those records. The third affiliate to have multiple teams at the games.
Tage was actually having a little bit of a struggle towards the end of these reps. You know, she ended up only being able to do 2. I think the team had agreed on 3. But you know, Matt Hewitt did a great thing. He stepped forward, talked to her, gave a little pat on the back. Because I think what a lot of athletes do is that if they become that person holding people up, they start to almost pile it on themselves than the rest of the team does. So it's good to see kind of your teammate to come up and say, hey, it's okay. There's a lot of event left to go. We don't have to win it here. So it's good to see him kind of go there being a teammate and help her out.
Rich Froning leading the way. Again, 6 total titles, 4 individual, 2 affiliate cups, so 6 total titles for Rich Froning. And again, most of this team has been together, Froning and Hewitt, as well as Lindy Barber, Persevich, the new element here to this 4-person team. He was pretty quick. Once Dave Castro went out and said the invitation, we're going to do 4-person teams, I think he knew, well, I just split them up and have 2 teams of 4. Don't Stop, your leader right now, and they are on to the barbells. Don't Stop means a huge event too. 29th place earlier today, and you can see some frustration. That's the thing we were afraid of. They can either be boom or bust, and they really seem to get frustrated with each other on that deadlift bar.
Well, you talk about it, they're like a bunch of brothers and sisters that argue a lot, but in the end kind of come together, and it's easier to come together through success than it does adversity. And when you're done with these 30 muscle-ups in under 5 minutes, you know, that was definitely something that they needed, right? There's a lot of noise coming in about how they'll perform here at the games, but ring muscle-ups is not an issue for these 4 athletes. We're talking about games level across the board between these 4. So Don't Stop really needs a big bounce back event after that. Like you said, Jeff, that 29th place finish in event number 1.
We talked about it earlier today. Sheila Bard, Jordan Cook, Travis Williams, individual games vet, and Rachel Garibay. Jordan Cook told me yesterday he's very confident that she could have made it if she decided to go individual this year.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you don't get top 10 in
Right.
Worldwide Open and not have a chance to make the games as an individual, especially coming out of the South Regional. So Garibay is on par with all of these athletes in terms of ability. She just might not have, the bullet point under her name as individual games athlete.
And that could change next year. Jordan said this is going to be a one-year deal. They're all going to kind of get back to individuals. So Rachel may be back here next year as an individual. There's Sheila Park. Rubbing out her back squats. She'll hand it off to Rachel. There's Rachel Garibay, who we've talked about. It's kind of they talked about it earlier today, kind of the Ringo star, the fourth needle, maybe the George Harrison, not George or Ringo or Paul, but a very key component here.
I would say the kind of the calm component of the team. You have these athletes that are very vocal with each other in terms of opinions and excitement and strategy, and you do have Garibay that doesn't talk very often and just kind of does what she needs to do.
Boy, and Don't Stop is non-stopping 30-rep lead right now.
As they move to push presses, Mayhem just gets to the back squat, and just to show you is that 2-minute difference between Don't Stop's time on the 30 ring muscle-ups and Mayhem's. If you can, like I said before, that's the whole event, unless you fall apart towards the end, which I don't see them doing. But we've seen a lot more interesting things happen on those box jump overs at the height of which they are at 42 and 36 inches respectively.
If Don't Stop, who's at the top of your screen, the only team in that section of the field, they're easy to identify, can even stay close to the space, they're going to get 100 points. 4-1-7 you see at the 13:39, then it drops down to Independence at 15:20, Belmore at 15:23. Torrance, only 4 teams have completed event number 2, and right now Don't Stop is making a statement.
Now I'll say there is a slight disadvantage to Don't Stop once they get through the barbell movements, and just looking at the height of these athletes, Sheila Bard, 5 feet tall. Rachel Garibay, 5'1". Jordan Cook, Travis Williams, both at 5'9", but Jordan Cook has, he has the vertical of a toddler when you think about his ability. I joke, but he's very nervous about the box jump overs. I talked to him in the warm-up area earlier, so this lead that they're coming out to is necessary because I believe these box jump overs are going to pose a bit more of an issue than it did for 4-1-7.
And their strategy, Chase, may have been to race the boxes and then be a little bit more deliberate. We'll see once they get there. They're on the left side of your screen. That's Don't Stop right now. Your heat leader and your overall leader here through one event on the right side. It's Mayhem Freedom.
Now Mayhem Freedom on the right side of your screen. The men have been done with their back squats for a solid 30 seconds. As you can see, Lindy Barber struggling underneath that 205-pound bar. Same with Tasia. This is something that I think was an issue for Mayhem last year, was not the ability of their female athletes, but maybe the overall strength of their female athletes in terms of heavier weights.
Don't Stop on the left. They're in 29th place after the first event at Mayhem Freedom on the right side. They are your leaders. And Don't Stop just finished the push presses. Jordan Cook gives Travis Williams a pat, and we are ready to go.
I mean, there's a butt pat to your partner. There's the butt pat to yourself to get yourself motivated going forward. That was solid from Jordan Cook.
Yeah, they do seem to be deliberate. Race to the box, be a little bit more deliberate here. Don't get any no reps. Don't collapse over the box. Don't trip. They'll take their time as Sheila Martin gets over. Again, they're in the 10-minute mark. A 16-minute time cap. Mayhem Freedom still back on the barbells on the right side of your screen. The white shirt, the white leader shirt. And again, that's Don't Stop, the only team right now in the box jump up and overs.
So we're at the 10-minute mark. They have about 3 minutes between them and the time to beat. 3 minutes and 30 seconds, 13:39. But these are long, laboring reps. The height of the box, as I said earlier, is a very, very intense movement. I liken it to the difference between regular burpees and burpees over a barbell. I think if anybody can agree, 1, burpees suck to begin with. 2, to do that over a bar, just that 6 to 8 inch jump changes the intensity of the movement. We're adding 18 plus inches to the men's height on the box, and on the women's side, 16 inches to a normal 24-20 that they're used to. That is a massive, I would say, jump in intensity per rep on these box jump overs.
Take a look at Don't Stop, Travis Williams. She had a little trouble getting over that time, so she'll let Rachel have a
But I
try.
really like what she did is just kind of not try to jump over the end, but watch as she, at the bottom of her dip before she jumps, she is at eye level with the box. I mean, that is I would say, disconcerting feeling when you're about to jump onto an object that is staring you dead in the eyes. Watch Sheila Moore on the right. As soon as she dips to jump, I mean, those eyes are right there at the top of the box. I mean, you're talking about 5 feet and 5'1" between her and Garibay. This is a very tough movement for both of these athletes.
And again, Don't Stop on the front of your streak is Rachel Garibay up there. They have a 14-rep lead, so Mayhem Freedom has closed the gap. Remember, that's about a 30-rep lead a few moments ago.
And they handled the push presses a lot better than they did the back squats on the women's side between Tasia and Lindy. And what I want to see is if they're going to try to catch them, they're 14 reps behind. It is possible, if your transitions between the two can get yourself 1 to 2 seconds per jump, it is possible to chase down Don't Stop.
Well, you look at the cycle time. Don't Stop's got to be deliberate, but Mayhem Freedom a little smoother here. So the cycle time, and you see the reps starting to increase again within 14. Can Don't Stop get these 12 reps remaining before Mayhem Freedom catches up with them?
I think one thing you need to make sure of is that don't get discouraged if you get to the box so far behind your leading team just because of the cycle time you might have versus the other team.
And again, 13 reps, and Don't Stop has moved to the final 10, so it looks like they'll be able to hold on Mayhem Freedom, who now is still on that first set. But Don't Stop had a good game plan. In way the distance, you see that's CrossFit Invictus X, who had a 4th place earlier today, right now in 3rd in heat number 4. So they're doing what they need to do very, very quietly. But Don't Stop, after a very disappointing event number 1, trying to chase down 417. It's going to be close. They had a 13:39.
I'm saying, look at the time. 30 seconds, 6 more reps to go. They got 5 more reps to go. And it's, you know, they had a lot of time when they got there, but the time that they're losing in between each jump, because it's 30 for everyone. It's not splitting the difference between 15 and 15 like we saw on the barbell side.
I don't think they're going to get the time to beat, but they'll still have a very solid time. They'll have 2nd place overall because they'll finish ahead of Mayhem Independence, who was 15:20. There they go. As they'll sprint to the lane marker, the chip timer, you know, as Jordan, he's in at 13:45. That's good enough for 2nd place at 94 points.
And that's what they needed. We knew that's what they were capable of, and they just had a bad event in event number 1. I don't think that was the tone that they wanted to set coming in, especially just how they, I'd say, kind of called their shot at the regional. You know, they formed a team to win the games, and when you come out with a 29th place finish, that's a little bit of a shot to the ego, I would say, more than a painting of what your team is capable of.
The next time marker to beat will be Mayhem Independence time of 15:20. Whoa, likely now. Mayhem Freedom's got to get in there. They still have 10 of these box, or now 8 box jumping overs to finish, and less than a minute to pass Independence. That's a nice rivalry inside just the games and the regionals and back to the open.
Oh yeah, and if they tell you any differently, they're wrong. In fact, actually, they were very honest and open about their rivalry before their team, because I think the only team they actually care about beating is their Mayhem Independence team. And they said earlier in the Denver event that Independence had actually beat them in practice. They took it here at the games. And it would be kind of a good little back and forth between those two. Independence can hold them off for event number 2.
Right now, Don't Stop. 2nd overall in event 2. And 417 has 100 points. They were in the prior heat at 13:39. Then Don't Stop won this heat. And they'll be one of the few teams, Rich Foney and the crew will get across the finish line with that chip timer in lane number 7. Very good day, and event win, another top 5 for Mayhem Freedom. 15:27 overall. That should put them 4th or 5th here in event number 2. And not just the teams in this heat, but in the prior 3 heats. Coming up on a 16-minute time cap as Invictus X has had a solid day as well. Quad City have been chipped on the register.
I don't know if the slide is worth it, but it was pretty cool looking.
Well, there you go. Don't Stop, 94 points. They won the heat. They will finish second overall in the event. And again, after Don't Stop got the 29th, came back for second place. Very happy parents, Sheila Barr and Rachel Garabit.
And Don't Stop coming in, that 29th place finish in event number 1. And, you know, Mayhem came out to actually a very early lead in the heat, but towards the end, you know, struggling a little bit on those last set of 10, and it was the sub 5 minute 30 synchro muscle-ups that put Don't Stop into the lead, and then they never looked back. They, you know, I think George said thought he was going to struggle on the box. He handled that just fine, and, you know, Rachel Garabit and Sheila Barr, one of the shortest, some of the shortest athletes on the women's side, 4 teams, handled the 36 inches just fine. Second place overall finish for Don't Stop. A great bounce back event for that team.
And they are second place in the event number 1 in the heat. Amanda Krenz has a chance to talk with Don't Stop.
No doubt that wind was a factor in this event, but you guys are some of the fittest people on earth. So how do you adjust to that? How does your game plan change when you come out here onto the competition floor?
I think the wind doesn't really affect you because you go into a zone that you don't know what's happening around you. So you look at your rings, you wait for them to be close enough, yell go, and then wait for everybody at the top of the rep. And that's where we made up time, is we would just wait for each other, where I feel like other teams weren't waiting and getting no reps. That helped us a lot.
Jordan, I know you were a little bit concerned about the box jump overs. What's your vertical like?
It's not very good. That's probably like 98% for me. So I'm happy, yeah, 99. So I was happy to hit 30 of those.
Why do you think you were able to do that out here?
Adrenaline, you know, we're at the games. It's the biggest stage we'll ever be on. So you're able to do a lot of stuff you're not able to do in training here.
Well, great event too for you guys. Thanks. Thank you.
There they are, 94 points here in event number 2, and boy, that bumped them way up the leaderboard. As we take a look at the event results, it was 417 in the third heat. They hang on, 13:39. Don't Stop makes the big move. Independence gets the win over Freedom, but Freedom has an event win and another top 5.
Yeah, a good little back and forth between the two. Mayhem Freedom takes 1 over Independence. Independence takes event number 2.
And wouldn't you know, as you take a look at the overall standings, that rivalry is going to be fun to watch because it's Freedom and Independence, and the big mover of the day, Don't Stop, went from 29th into the top 10.
And it's good to see, I mean, how incredible is it to qualify 2 teams to CrossFit Games? What a story it would be if both of them could end up on the podium.
That's 24-point lead right now for Mayhem Freedom, but plenty of time to go Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So that's it for team competition on day 1. We still have the whole weekend to go, so a lot is going to happen. That does it for team competition on day 1, but still our coverage will continue. So for Chase Ingram, Amanda Krenz, I'm Jeff Brightwell from day 1 of the Reebok CrossFit Games. Really nice day in Madison, Wisconsin as we get set for the second day of team competition at the 2018 Reebok CrossFit Games. Individuals had a busy day on Wednesday, just 2 events for the team, so today they'll get put through the ringer just a little bit as we get set for event event number 3. I'm Jeff Wright alongside Chase Ingram. We'll be joined later by Amanda Krentz on the competition floor. After Wednesday's 2 events, here's how things stand up in the affiliate competence. The 2 teams out of Mayhem, Freedom with 180 points, followed by Independence. But a lot of contenders, and the ones we thought would be there are there after just 2 events. So 100 points on the line here in event number 3. And it is the Team Battleground brought to you by the United States Marine Corps. We've seen the individuals go through it already. It's similar, but a little bit different, Chase.
We start things off with a carry, a different little twist to the carry. They have yoke carries, litter carries. We work our way down the floors, we get to the ropes. Get to that O course, a little bit of a change there on the team side, but they still have to navigate that through together as a unit, run back to the stadium out here, and then they go back to the final rope climbs and carries. The unique twist about the ropes is they have a skinny rope, a normal rope that we're used to, and that thick rope. And just on the individual side, that carry back should be as interesting as we saw the individuals do.
Here's a look at how they will line up for heat number 1 of 4 heats in event number 3. And Lone Star CrossFit currently in 31st. They're in lane 5 and lane 6, 1-2-1, sitting in 32nd.
3, 2, 1.
Underway, and day 2 is event number 3, and a pair will carry the yoke, a pair will carry the litter. That we first saw a couple of seasons ago in Team Murph. And these are 44-foot sections. If you need to switch it up at any point, you can, but these teams looking like they're having very little trouble going to full length at 32 feet.
I tell you what, I think that went a lot faster than anybody had really anticipated on the way out. And in terms of speed is concerned, is that what you want to do is take those litters across the field as fast as you can, because you can come back and aid those carrying the yokes.
At this point, each team member must do 2 rope climbs. Because as Chase said earlier,
Okay, round 2. Slap.
That is, you just saw that athlete do there from the wall. However, you can't flip over the wall. It's going to be one leg at a time.
You can flip, now you can drop at a height that you're comfortable with. We've seen some athletes on the individual side do that by accident and get to the ground as fast as you can. I don't recommend that. It's also known as falling. Probably not the most safest way to get down from the cargo net.
All right, clock stops when you get to the carpet.
So it looks like it's dedicated to just this far. Lone Star getting to
37:33.